These are assembly instructions for my casino themed fancy fold card. My base is in 2 pieces and I've cut it out of Cricut value cardstock. So I have my longer piece on my right and my shorter piece on my left. I have 3 tabs on the right hand side of my smaller piece, and I'm putting glue from the score line to the end on all 3 of those tabs. Now I can use a lighter weight cardstock on this because I'm going to be layering it up quite a bit. Then I'm taking my larger piece and I'm matching up the cut edge with the score lines on those 3 tabs. This tab is attached to the top part here. This tab is attached to the bottom part, and then the larger tab is adhered to the center. So I'm going to start from the center of my card at the top, and I have 2 score lines at the center. I'm folding my card inwards, so a valley fold, and then outwards, so a mountain fold, on both the top and the bottom. And I'm bringing my panels in like so. And that will cause this to want to fold in a valley, and I'm just going to reinforce that. And so the next long score line is a mountain fold, so I'm just pinching down on it. And I want these 2 short score lines to become mountain folds, and these 2 short score lines to become valley folds. You can tuck that long piece under like so, and it'll automatically shape your card for you. So next I'm just going to fold down, and that's half of my card done. I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side. So from the center, the 2 at the top and the bottom become valley folds. The next one becomes a mountain fold. This one becomes a valley fold. So I'm folding the right side upwards. And then the next long one gets folded in a mountain. I'm tucking this long section under, which causes this to become a valley and this to become a mountain. Doing that at the bottom as well. And then folding everything flat. So this is my card in its closed position, but then when you open it up, it has a lot of depth to it. So next I'm gluing down the decorative layers. So for the inside of my card, this piece is a rectangle. That same piece on the outside of my card is going to look like this. So I'm just using the score lines as my guide, and I'm just using my foiled cardstock to decorate. So I've pretty much positioned all my decorative panels where they belong. I'm just putting glue on the underside of my decorative panels and then just gluing them down where they belong on my card base, trying to create an even border all the way around. So now that I've glued down all those decorative panels, I have 2 long rectangular panels for that second panel in on both sides. And then I have 2 other decorative panels, one for the top and one for the bottom of that center narrower panel. So I'm just going to glue those down, and again trying to create an even border around my pieces. So I forgot to mention that these pieces are printed gun pieces that I put in the file. So now that I've glued those down, I'm going to flip the entire piece over, and I'm going to place and then glue down the decorative panels for the exterior of my card. I purposely chose a very pale patterned cardstock so that if many people wanted to sign the card, there's lots of real estate here to leave a message or to sign your name. Okay, so now that the outside is decorated, I'm going to flip my card over yet again, and then I can start decorating the interior. So I'm starting with my diamonds, hearts, spades, and clubs. The gold layer is the bottom layer, and it's a very, very small offset. I'm just putting glue on the underside of my black and my red shapes, and I'm matching them up with their offsets, trying to center them on that layer as much as possible. The black pieces are cut out of Cricut foil craft board, and the red pieces are cut out of foil poster board. So I'm just going to keep going, gluing each one to its matching base. So now that I've glued my layers together, I'm going to glue these onto my card base. I'm starting with a heart, and I'm putting it on that upper square on the left hand side, and then I'm gluing down a spade on the square beside it, and then I'm putting 2 shapes on the next one. So I'm putting a diamond here and a club there. Now the reason why I'm being very careful of where I'm putting things is because when I close my card, I want all 4 suits to be represented at the top and at the bottom. Even though I have 4 here, when I close down the card, I have my heart and my club. So I'm just continuing along. So now with all of these in place, I've got them in sequence, red, black, red, black. So I've already done the top. Now I'm going to do the bottom. And so once I open up my card, I've glued them down in alternate colors, and I have each suit represented at the top and the bottom on either panel. Now in the file, I have them in the proper order so that these colors are inverted and the colors will be alternated instead. I was too quick to glue this down and I made a mistake. So just follow what's in the file to make sure that you get these colors properly positioned. Then I have these little stars cut out of glitter cardstock, and I'm just gluing them down on the left and right of that center panel at the top and on the left and right of the center panel at the bottom. And so next I have my cards. So my cards are on a foil poster board base and then a white base to help position them. So I'm taking my white layer and I'm making sure that my cards match up perfectly. They're not exactly the same. You want to make sure that the ace on the left hand side, that the corners match nicely. You want to do that for both of them. I'm gluing down my ace to begin with, and there's little bumps at the top. You can see where the next card begins. I'm gluing down my king next. I'm just putting glue on the underside of my cards and just stacking them up. It's a 65-pound cardstock, and I've done print and cut. Now you may be wondering about the black ink on my fingers. That is from the foil craft board. I used black ink to color in the edges so you can't see the brown. So there's my first hand, and then I'm gluing it down to its poster board base. I'm going to do the exact same thing with my second set of cards. If you open my original file in Design Space, you can pretty much follow the layout that's on my canvas to decorate the card. And then I have the dice image. This is 80-pound cardstock, and I have applied some black vinyl. I'm just gluing it down to a foil poster board base. And what would a casino be without a martini shaken, not stirred? This is my little martini glass. I've cut both the glass and the triangle out of foil cardstock. So it's an even border on two sides and a little bit of extra on the top of the glass. Placing this little rectangle a little bit off the angle. And then I have my two tiny little olives. I'm going to glue them down. And then I have my sign. My sign itself is print and cut. You can unflatten, remove the name, or add your own name at the bottom. My base piece is cut out of foil cardstock. And I've cut my sentiment in two parts, and I've cut it out of vinyl. So next, I have a very well used piece of transfer tape because I don't want the transfer tape to rip my cardstock. So I'm just applying my letters to the white part of my sign. I decided to put a little bit of foam tape on the underside of my white layer, and I'm just removing the backing on my foam tape, and then I'm trying to center it as best I can on my gold layer. Now I'm going to glue down my elements that are on that center panel. The top of my sign is going to overlap here in that top area, and then I'm going to glue down my martini. These you could pop up as well. I decided not to. And then I have my playing cards. So this one will be towards the top and this one will be towards the bottom. And then when you close the card, you can have them look like that. So for this one, I'm just putting glue on the left part of the underside. I'm positioning it so there's like a right angle triangle here. The right side is just against the edge, and the top of the king is almost at the top of the panel, like so. And I'm doing the same thing for my other set of cards. So I'm just positioning it so that the left hand side intersects the corner of my panel. So next I have poker chips, and I am just going to glue them down with no particular rhyme or reason. So I've put half of them on the right hand side. I'm putting the other half on the left hand side, but this time above my playing cards. All right, so there's my card decorated. Because of all the layers, it kind of wants to open by itself. So I want to create a belly band to keep it in its place while it's in the envelope. So these are the pieces for my belly band. I have a replica of the dice image in a larger size. And then I have the band, and my band is cut out of 80-pound cardstock only because it's longer than the 11 inches. And then I have my pattern cardstock to decorate it. I'm just going to glue down those 3 panels. So I'm just gluing my cardstock between the score lines. I've already adhered the vinyl to the white base for my dice. And now I'm just adhering it to the red poster board. I'm putting glue on the underside of it, gluing it down, making sure that the edges match up nicely. Next, I'm going to take my card and I'm going to flip it over so I'm looking at the underside of it. I'm going to take my belly band, I'm pressing my card flat, and I am wrapping it around my card like so. And next I'm going to be using some Velcro fasteners. So these are 3/8 of an inch and they're clear. I have 2 sets of them, and I'm putting my belly band in position. I'm putting one of my Velcro dots on the lower corner. I'm removing the liner on the adhesive side of the second one and then repositioning my belly band. I'm taking my Cricut tool and going in there to separate my 2 layers of Velcro. And then I'm pressing down on my Velcro to make sure that it stays put. I'm going to put a second one here, placing it here. I want to make sure that you can't see it when it's closed. Yep, that's fine. I'm removing the liner on the second half and then tightening my belly band. I'm separating the Velcro that I've just installed, making sure that my Velcro stays put. And so there's my card. The recipient just removes the belly band and then opens the card. And it stands up on its own, which is always very nice.